What's up, guys? Today I'm be going over a live trade I took on Thursday. Let me actually, yeah. All right, so this is a live trade I took on Thursday. I kind of um trade like as soon as market opened, but we could kind of see what kind of happened, right? So before market kind of did open, right? But before we could determine any type of like actual bias, right? We could see that we had our highs, we had our lows, we had this low, we also had this low. This low was actually our higher time frame low, right? Let's kind of keep that in mind in the beginning, right? So this is called sell side liquidity. All this is called sell side liquidity, right? And this is called buy side liquidity, right? So we kind of just let market kind of move, kind of just let it do its thing, right? See that we didn't take out this low, but we ended up taking out this high, inserting that new high, right? Inserting that new high. And yeah, we can also see that there was some bullish fair value gaps as well. And if we were trying to play the downside, then we would have wanted to see this bullish fair value gap get inverse, right? Which is exactly kind of what it did. But again, I was asleep. But this is just to show you guys if you were looking at this at a bearish point of view, right? We came back up, tested that inverse of that fair value gap, right? Or this fair value gap actually got inversed, right? We got that big black candle or red candle, whatever you want to call it. Get a candle close underneath. We got retraced in, and now we want to target our lows, which is this low, and then these lows as well, right? But for as of right now, these are kind of like the lows that you kind of see, right? We came down, um, saw that we couldn't take that higher time frame low, right? And how do I know it's a higher time frame low? If I go to the hour, right? You can see that's a hourly wick. Let's kind of draw this down a little bit right there, right? Go to the smaller time frame. So if we saw like any kind of closes underneath this, I would have wanted to basically continue lower, right? So we actually took out this low, and we also see that we took out the lows of these candles right here. So the liquidity right there, right? So when we took out, this low, we actually inserted a new low, right? I don't know if you could kind of see it. We took out this low, we inserted this newer low, right? Then we also see that we had a bearish fair value gap, right? We retraced to the fair value gap and we saw that we kind of got some sort of reaction where we came down, right? But we didn't create any lower lows after that, right? We just kind of came down, saw that we got supported by this low right here that was created, and we also got supported by this higher time frame low as well. Let me actually move this right there, right? See, we didn't really take that low, right? And we also saw that we kind of broke these highs right here, right? We broke this high, and we also broke that high, right? And from there, we got an inverse of that fair value gap, right? So I actually did take a trade, trying to short this, and I kind of got stopped out for very little. Kind of shorted it when that candle was forming, right? The reason I took shorts was again because of that first inverse of that fair value gap, right? And I kind of thought we were just gonna retrace to continue lower to try breaking down, right? Yeah, it kind of just didn't play on my favor. I just kind of took a mini loss, right? And I kind of just looked at it through the bigger picture and basically saw those things I just pointed out, which was us not taking out this low and us breaking these lower highs, right? And we were also getting supported by this higher time frame low, meaning that we should be looking for bullish setups, right? Excuse me for messing up my vocabulary. All right. So we kind of had that inverse of that fair value gap, continued a little bit higher, right? and we have a retrace in here, right? As of right now, I would have not entered basically because I took a loss and I kind of want to wait for us to retrace even more, regardless if we kind of just got tapped in and came higher, right? It's kind of just a risk to reward type thing, right? By the way, we also have this bullish fair value gap, and we see that we kind of wicked down there. That's where I entered, right? We also see that we had this bullish fair value gap as well. And when you stack an inverse fair value gap and a bullish fair value gap or a bearish fair value gap, whatever you're playing, it kind of stacks up and kind of acts as double support, right? So I entered in a normal position there, right? And I was just kind of getting crushed by theta, right? Bro, let me just switch my, where is it? There we go. Alright, so as of right now, bro, I don't want to mess up. As of right now, I see that we want to break this high, and then these highs right here, this high, and then this high to continue higher, right? Bro, my mic muted. Not muted, it turned off. But what I basically said was I wanted to take this high and then this high right here, right? So we kind of inverse this fair value gap, got a retrace down here. We saw that we tried getting some sort of reaction. We didn't really have that buyer volume, right? So inverse retrace down here. Added my not added, but got into a normal position here. Saw we got some type of momentum, right? But we were also getting crushed by theta because we were just kind of going up and down, right? And then from there, I added my next position, which was basically when we saw that big ass red candle. We kind of just came down here. I quickly added to my position just so I don't get cooked by theta, right? And we saw that we ended up getting kind of close on the high, right? So from there, I kind of wanted to see if we could get um, a fair value gap, right? A fair value gap as well, another kind of close above that high, leading us to break these highs, right? So whatever confluence you kind of try to look for to basically hold your trade, I don't know if that makes sense, but you're trying to look for more confluences to hold your trade, which for me, it would just be us breaking these highs that were created when we were downtrending, right? Basically breaking those lower highs, right? Getting kind of close above, right? And also spotting bullish fair value gaps to hold, right? So from there, we got a kind of close, we got a second kind of close, right? Saw that we created that bullish fair value gap, and then we were targeting our next high. From here, I was taking my um, I took my first trim after this big candle, right? It was a little trim. It was like 30. It was actually like 31. I saw it was like at 27 when I said I'm a trim, but then when I looked on my phone, it was like 31, right? So I took my first trim right here. It was pretty light because I kind of wanted to hold it. And then from there, we ended up taking out this high, right? Got it kind of close above. As we were getting kind of close above, we also created that bullish fair value gap, right? And from here, I saw my cons at 100%. And then we kind of came down and then kind of came back up. And those cons were at 70%, right? So I kind of just exited out the majority of my position, right? And then from here, we're just kind of getting stuck in consolidation, right? But we were still getting supported by this bullish fair value gap as well as this high right there. Excuse me for that voice crack. Um, I just went through puberty, right? That was not a funny joke. All right. So I kind of wanted to see if we could hold this fair value gap, trying to basically break this high to continue higher, right? So from there, we actually broke that high, and then I just sold my last runner, which was at 110%, right? Which was really not worth trying to hold through this consolidation on one runner, right? But I was just live trading and then also just teaching what I was doing, so I kind of really just held that through, right? So from there, we also took out that high, and we also created a bullish fair value gap, right? So if you want to continue holding this trade, you'll want to see this bullish fair value gap gets respected, right? And to just break those highs that you inserted, right? Right here, we entered that new high, right? But the next few candles, we could see that we were struggling to take that high, and we were retracing back into this fair value gap, right? But if you're holding on your runners, you know your next stop loss would have been underneath that. But I'm pretty sure this actually kind of got violated. Yeah. So once you see like those type of like volume mass candles, that's when you should just get out, bro. Sometimes like you'll get those type of candles and it'll just kind of be like right here, but like not the passes, bro, because that shit, that shit just means like sell, 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 bro. It could have been just a fake out candle, but yeah, bro, some shit like this could happen, right? But that would have been on your runners, right? But basically, that was the trade I took in the morning. That caught 110%, but I just said 100% because realistically, that's where I took my position at. Even though it was like at 70%, it was at 100, and I don't know, kind of just sounds cooler like that, you know. But basically, to kind of give a whole explanation, we were being supported by this higher time frame low, which was the hour, right? We actually took out this liquidity right here, made that new low. So this sell side liquidity, we actually made a new sell side liquidity, which was our support. We came up, came back down. We didn't end up taking those lows, right? And then we came right back up, taking those higher lows, right? Inversing this fair value gap, this bearish fair value gap. And then we retrace back down into this inverse fair value gap and this bullish fair value gap, right? And then from there, we were just breaking highs, creating those bullish fair value gaps, and then taking those those higher lows, right? We were getting a break of each of these lows, as well as getting supported by these bullish fair value gaps, which made us hold this trade. And yeah, if you were looking for, bro, if you were looking for a bearish setup, you probably would have cut this too to the downside. But yeah, um, I'm just recapping what I just took. And yeah, if I wanted to take that, I would have not had an entry because we inversed that first bullish fair value gap. We actually did take that high into that new high, but as soon as we inversed that fair value gap, it just inversed way too hard, right? We didn't really get that entry type, right? We just kind of dumped, right? But yeah, that's basically the trade recap.